So who should come into the England squad in week 2? Reinforcements arrive from Sale and Saracens, the teams that were knocked out of the Premiership semi-finals, and also players could drop out, and because you're in week 2 as well doesn't mean you're going to stay there, so it depends how many you want to bring in. I'm going to bring in a fair few players, and not saying all of these guys should stick around for that full summer squad. So who should come in for Saracens? Well, Jamie George is going to come in. He's the England captain, but it was very interesting to see the matchup between him against Curtis Langdon, and you can just see how much better Langdon is all around the park in every single area, apart from, of course, that line-out throwing, that scrummaging, that leadership, where maybe they're a par, I don't know, but Jamie George has the experience and he is going to go, but definitely Langdon is breathing down his neck, as is his teammate Theo Dan, so Theo Dan will go into that England squad as well, so 2 hookers in. Maritoje is going to go in. I think he should go in, but very interesting, in that semi-final he didn't play the full 80, and maybe that's going to be the case for England. He's not that guy who's going to be staying on the pitch for the whole 80. I don't know, but I think he is in there on merit. He's had a very solid season. Then, of course, Ben Earley is in, one of England's standout players this year. He's been amazing for Saracens, and he's in. Whether he plays 8 or plays 7 is going to be very interesting. You imagine he is in pole position to play 8, but he's 100% in. And then the Elliot Daly question. I've done a bit of a U-turn. Initially, I've said maybe a year ago that Elliot Daly shouldn't be in the England squad, but he's played so well in the Premiership. He's got experience. He's played well for England. But I am torn because I know he's not really up there with the best in the world on an international scale, speed, power-wise. In that semi-final, he did a lot of really good things, but also made some really bad errors as well. So it's a tough one. So for me, he's in there for week 2. Should he stay there for the summer tour? That is a good question. I'm pretty sure Steve Borthwick is going to take him, but he's in there for this week. Let me know if you think he should be at this stage. Close but not quite from Saracens. Tom Willis, I've been watching for a while. Just not quite seeing that explosiveness of some of the other number 8s we've seen for England. Nick Ezekwe is a solid second row who could come in if needed. The other second row, Hugh Tizard, had definitely been touted as a future England second row, but I'm not seeing anything particularly special from him, so I don't think he goes either. So those 5 go in there: George Itoje, Earl, Daly and Dan. And from Sale, who have been felt hard done by not having recognition. Are they going to get recognition by having players in the England squad? Well, I think in this week they get a fair few in. Whether they all stay there is a big question. Maybe only one will stay. Maybe only George Ford will stay. It'll be interesting. But in that semi-final against Bath, Joe Carpenter really impressed me once again. And I think he's done enough to get in that England squad for this week at least. His high ball work looks great. His counter-attack looks great. If you want a fullback who is similar to George Furbank, maybe Joe Carpenter is the guy there. Tom Roebuck had another really good game for Sale, I think, and a really good comparison against Will Muir, who had a brilliant game for Bath. Josh Ford had another really good game for Sale. He's been brilliant all season, brilliant for England, so he is obviously in. And then the young props, Bevan Rodd and James Harper, the loose head and the tight head, I think they both go in for this week. Whether they stay there, I'm not sure. They didn't quite win their battle against Bath at the weekend. Are they quite at that level? Maybe not yet, but in the future, possibly. So that's a tough one. And I think Ben Curry gets in for this week. He's been so consistent for Sale this season. He's put on some power, put on some size, which has definitely helped him. Close but not quite. Tom Curry, Ben's brother, of course, came back in that semi-final and looked fantastic. But as Sanderson said, he's got limited games on the clock. His hip injury is a wear and tear injury. You don't just want to be playing him for the sake of playing him. And I don't think England need him this summer. They know what Tom Curry can do, and they've got so many back rows to look at. I don't think there's any point him wearing himself out in the summer, so don't take him on tour. Give him a bit of rest and really attack it next year. And the 2 scrum halves, Gus Waugh, Rafi Quirk, they're close but not quite. Quirk still hasn't had that run of games to show he is right up there for England. Gus Waugh, again, a really good all-round player, but no one part of his game is outstanding, I would say. Do Scotland come sniffing? I'm not sure they do. But anyway, and one for the future, Ben Bamber, is one to watch the second row, but not yet. So Carpenter, Roebuck, Ford, Rod Harper and Ben Curry in, which leaves week 2's training squad like this. We've got 2 loose heads and 2 tight heads, so we can do some scrummaging, which is very important. I'm keeping O'Gray in there. I don't think he'll make the full squad, but really important to get him in there for backup in case you need another hooker coming out for injury. Then the second rows, we've only got 3 Itoje, Tuima and Martin, although you could have a back row filling in if you want to do some scrummaging. I know Dombrandt's done some second row work before. And then the back row would be Cunningham South, Ben Curry, Dombrandt, Earl, Fizalou, Pepper and Roots. Does Fizalou drop out? Does Pepper drop out? Not at this stage. Those are guys who are young. They've got plenty to prove. Maybe one of them goes on tour. Not sure yet, but they stay in for week 2. 2 scrum halves, which really helps training, Van Portfleet and Randall. Then we've got 2 fly halves in Ford and Smith, and I'm saying Charlie Atkinson drops out for now, and he would just take away reps from the other 2 who are going on tour. So I think that makes sense to just have 2 fly halves in Ford and Marcus Smith. Light on centres, only Northmore and Slade at the moment, but I think that's right. You could have others fill in, likes of Daly fill in at centre as well. And then quite a few back 3. Carpenter replacing Malins as the other fullback, I would say. Malins, I don't see him going on tour for me, and I think Carpenter is worth a look. So Carpenter comes in, Malins out, and then Stewart would be the other fullback with wingers Daly, Fawubusu and Roebuck. So those are the 28 players I would have in week 2 of England's training squad. Let me know who you would take, who you would drop out. Pop all the comments below, like, subscribe, that would be amazing, and I'll catch you next time.